the IATSE, is calling for renegotiations as soon as possible, or they're going to go on strike. If they can't negotiate within the next couple of days, it sounds like they are looking to walk out first week of October. This next bit of news I was not made aware of until I saw a Facebook post from one of my friends. I have a friend who I used to work with at Blockbuster Video way back in the day, and her passion for movies led her to her career, which she now works for Hollywood as a set designer. Now, I don't remember or I don't recall her hierarchy. I don't know if she's like a manager or what have you, but I know she has a crew of people and they work on a lot of productions that are filmed here in New York. She worked on movies like The Irishman, The Joker. Again, those are just to name a few. But she posted this thing on Facebook about Hollywood studios that are not willing to renegotiate contracts for workers like herself for improvements of work conditions, salary, benefits, and all that stuff. And because of the current state of how things are right now, things are really hectic, and it sounds like there's a lot of burnout and people are overworked, but they're not really fully getting compensated on. And a lot of it has to deal with streaming as well, because streaming platforms churn out more content, so turnaround is expected to be quicker. Plus, everyone is catching up from Hollywood being shut down all of last year, right? So deadlines have been missed, things are behind. Now everyone's trying to catch up, and now people are going nuts and working extremely difficult conditions and working extremely hard. So the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, the IATSE, is calling for renegotiations as soon as possible, or they're going to go on strike. Now, this union consists of, now the reports are kind of all over the place. I've seen 40,000 to 60,000 members of this union. Regardless, it's a huge amount. They're asking the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which are usually the studios, connected to studios, to renegotiate, or else they're gonna go on strike. And basically what they're asking for is, and I'm reading this right off of deadline.com. The most grievous workplace conditions we are trying to improve include excessively unsafe and harmful working hours, including Fridays that often last well into Saturday, aka Fraturdays. If you guys don't know, usually weekends are the times when studios shut down for the week. That's usually the breaks that people get, but it sounds like now that's not the case majority of the time. Wages for lowest paid crafts that cannot sustain a decent living. That's also another issue. Incredibly long work days without any break for a meal, to put down equipment, to unmask and get fresh air, or just sit down. That also is a major issue. Moving on all the list here, consistent failure to provide reasonable rest between work days and on weekends. So when I kept reading into this, basically it's, let's say a production ends on Thursday, right? Normally people will get some time off, and then following week they'll work on the next thing. What it sounds like what's happening here is that production ends on Thursday for project 1. Project 2 starts right up on Friday and may spill into a little bit of Saturday and then continue until that project is done. Project 2 ends on a Monday. Project 3 starts now on Tuesday. That seems to be what's happening here. So you could see this is an issue. And then lastly here, substandard rates for the same work on new media streaming projects, even on productions with budgets that rival or exceed those of traditionally released blockbusters. This quote unquote relief is being provided to the most profitable companies on the planet, including Apple and Amazon. So these are the grievances there. From what I can tell, the studios have not been willing to really negotiate and to talk. So this has been hitting the news outlets quite a bit. A lot of Hollywood actors and actresses have been putting their voices in and putting their support behind the union, behind the IATSE, to try to get equality here, try to get compensation for those who deserve it. A lot of these workers are your hair and makeup people, like I mentioned before, set designers, costumers, right? Lighting people, stagecraft, all that stuff that's involved in the back end of a production of a movie. All those people you see at the credits that you're usually already out the door when they're playing. Not me, I'm always sitting through the credits there. But all those people, these are the people that really help with a production of a movie from start to finish, and these are the ones that are being underpaid and mistreated, right? So the landscape has changed. Like streaming has really proven itself, mostly because of what happened last year, to be a huge form of entertainment that is now overtaking the experiences of going out to a movie, the experiences of going out to possibly a stage show or production. And a lot of these platforms are reaping the benefits on all that. We've heard earlier this year the grievances that actors are now having because of contracts that are tied to box office and doesn't include any clauses about streaming platforms. Scarlett Johansson is the number one person right now, where her contract stated that part of her salary was going to be partly based on the returns from box office revenue. Now, Disney decided that they were going to do a day and date release, and then now you could go on Disney Plus and pay an extra $30 to watch Black Widow during that time. All that revenue is not being accounted for to Scarlett's contract, and she doesn't see any of that profit. So box office revenue being so low, that affects her wallet, right? And it sounds like there are other actors and actresses who are facing the same issues here. So it comes a time where things are going to have to change and pivot, right? So it makes perfect sense to me why the IATSE Union is demanding for improvements and updates to their contracts for their members and all that. And it's only right for the studios to adhere to it, because if they can't negotiate within the next couple of days, it sounds like they are looking to walk out first week of October, and which will shut down majority of productions from what I read, mostly anything tied to Warner Brothers, HBO, Showtime, BET, Lifetime, a good amount of production that is done on the West Coast. And of course, it's going to touch like some of the East Coast productions too. So big stuff there. I wish them the best of luck. They deserve what they are, what is supposed to be coming to them. They work extremely hard. Again, I know a lot of people in the industry who are, like I mentioned before, my friend who is a set designer. I know someone who does construction for Hollywood productions. I know several people who do that. And these people work extremely hard, so they deserve to be treated better. And it's not any different from what you see in corporate America as well. A lot of these people who have corporate jobs realized a lot of things last year, and maybe one of the things they realize is that they're not being compensated for the amount of work that they're doing. So as things start slowly opening up, or the opportunities and possibilities for really working from home seems to be more of a stable and acceptable thing, renegotiations are really starting to happen a lot more. conversations are starting to happen as far as what is proper compensation, what is a proper work-life balance, which is something I was always championing for years and years and years with all the companies I worked at. So it's, allowing people to finally realize their worth. And for the most part, I think a lot of companies were taking advantage. So let's see what happens here. I will be keeping a close eye on this because obviously it is fascinating. Plus, again, I do love the industry because of what comes out of it. And the back end stuff always does fascinate me. And I really hope things turn for the better on both sides, but mostly on the side of the IATSE Union.